the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. The show that gives you the lowdown on how to become a successful real estate entrepreneur. With more than 30 years of experience, America's top female real estate investor Dwan is an expert in financial freedom and turning dreams into realities. Now's your chance to become a Dwandernaire with the help of Dwan. Here's to a flaming hot foreclosure market with the help of Dwan. Cheers.
Hey everybody, welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I am super excited to be talking to you again this week. I have a super great guest, but look where I'm at. I am actually in my childhood home. So I'm visiting my dad, and this is the house I grew up in. And I'm going to tell you something. They have green walls, they have red furniture, they got a million things, and none of that goes with pink hair. So this is the best I could do with all the lights I bought and the windows. So this is where I grew up. We're out in West Milton, Ohio. I'm in the way in the country, and I'm visiting with my dad and just having a really great time. So I'm super excited to be here with Inside the Minds of today's millionaires. I have a super great guest today, and his name is Mark Podolsky. Mark, how are you today?
Dwan, I'm so excited to be here. Pulse is normal, respiration's fine.
Yes.
And how cool to be in the home you grew up in.
Well, you know, it's funny because like they have their coat rack and they have the thing with all the glasses and the bells and the shot glasses and all this like flowery stuff. And yeah, it's kind of fun when you go into like someone's house that they're in their 80s. Yeah, it's like time to sit still in here. But I've done a couple podcasts in my old bedroom, but my bedroom has brown wood paneling and green shag carpet that's still there. So I was never able to get any good lighting in there because it's like a bat cave. So I'm like, I'm in my living room. So I guess where I grew up. So it's kind of fun, you know, a little nostalgic. And I got to tell you something. I'm out here in the country and it's real quiet at night. And my dad is doing some physical therapy right now because he had COVID. So I'm by myself and it's like, ooh, it's really quiet out here and it's really dark. So I've got like on my nightstand, I have like 2 guns and a knife, and I have all the doors locked. So if someone comes up in this house, they're going to be so sorry that I was here. Oh,
yeah. Don't read any Stephen King books at night.
Oh my gosh. Now I started to watch, I actually like to watch Forensic Files, weirdly. I had it on the other night, and after like 2 minutes, I thought, no, I can't watch this out here in the country. Because, you know, it's really, there's no streetlights, like we're in a country. And so I can only watch like funny or laughing or listen to things that uplift me before bedtime because I get myself creeped out. And I've already had 2 days where I walked on the whole entire house. Like there's so much noise out here. But it's like coyotes and I don't know, there's things like it's the country and they all hunt out here. It's like, oh my God, there's guns, there's hunting, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on out here. So anyway, so how are you today?
I'm great. I'm
super excited to have you on today. And I just kind of want to give you a little sort of how the rundown. So normally, or what we're going to do is I like you to tell us who you are, what's your show, and what you do. And then I like to backtrack and ask a bunch of questions and find out how you got to where you are today.
Sure.
So it's super easy. So who you are, what's your show, what do you do? And then we're going to ask you a bunch of really random questions that don't really seem like they matter about anything, but they're fun because we want to find out what's inside the mind of people that are successful.
Sure. So I'm Mark Podolsky. I'm known as the Land Geek. I've been buying and selling raw land now for over 20 years. I've done over 6,000 transactions and I absolutely love it. But my show, the podcast, is the Art of Passive Income podcast, which you are going to be on.
Yes, I am. The Art of Passive Income. No, I love that.
So we talk to people about how they built their passive income. And we also talk about our own niche and solving the pain points in that as well.
So I have to tell you, I love the Land Geek. I thought anyone that would call themselves a Land Geek is okay by me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That.
And you've done.
I figured no one's going to remember my name. What's
Oh,
that?
I know. It's awesome. I mean, my name's Dwan and no one can ever say Dwan right. So then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to make it Dwanderful. Just remember wonderful, Dwanderful, and there you go. And then people are just like, are you that girl with the pink hair? So they don't even really know know my name, but everybody loves to watch my show. So I'm excited about that. Now I love it. You've done 6,000 deals. Like that's no joke.
Yeah. It's no joke.
Over how many years?
Over 20 years.
Nice. You know, when someone, I always tell everyone that listens to me, and I'll say it again with you as well. I say, when you have someone that's done, 500, 1,000, like when they've done that many deals, like you're talking to a real estate investor. Because, you meet people all the time, like, oh, I'm on my fifth deal. And I'm like, oh, you're so cute. I remember
Right.
my fifth deal like 2 million years ago. When someone's at 6,000, I mean, I've only done 2,000, so you're way ahead of me.
Well, I mean, there's small deals. So
Doesn't matter.
it's a
That's a
volume
lot of
business.
deals.
Yeah.
That is a lot of
Yeah.
deals. So you buy raw land. So tell us, give us like the what is the gist of that? You buying raw land, because I actually don't buy raw land. I don't think I ever have. I do. I have 25 acres. Oh, I do. I have 25
Okay.
acres. I should know this. In the Colorado, we bought 25 acres. It's just plotted out to build on it, but I haven't done anything with it. It's just been sitting there.
Okay, great. So I'm going to use you as an example.
I've
Okay.
been sitting there for 2 years. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just have this land.
But now you don't live in Colorado, right?
I do. We
You do live in Colorado.
We actually live between Colorado and Florida, my husband and I. And
Okay.
then a few years ago, we bought a bunch of buildings in Clinton, Iowa, which is the
Okay.
town my husband grew up in. And we got involved in this downtown rebeautification, bring the downtown back. And I bought 20 buildings.
Okay. So I'm going to pretend.
And my raw land is sitting over there, and I didn't do anything with it yet.
Okay. So, all right, we're going to use this as a case study. So I'm going to pretend that you live in Florida. You bought that 25 acres in Colorado.
Yep.
Right. But now you owe $200 in back taxes. So you're essentially advertising two important things to me. Number one, you have no emotional attachment to that raw land. You live in Florida, the property's in Colorado. And number two, you're distressed financially in some weird way because you haven't paid your property taxes. We don't pay for things. We don't value them in the same way. And as a result, the county treasurer keeps saying, Dwan, if you don't pay your taxes, we're going to auction off this property to a tax lien or a tax deed investor. So all I'm going to do is look at the comparable sales on your 25-acre parcel for the last 12 to 18 months. I'm going to take the lowest comparable sale. I'm going to divide by 4. That's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. I'm going to send you an actual offer on your 25 acres. So let's say that the lowest comparable sale is $10,000.
Okay.
I'm going to send you an offer for $2,500.
Wow.
Now I know it's super low for 25 acres, but you've been paying the property taxes. It's been years now. You're in Florida and you're like, you know what? I'll take it. Now, in reality, 3 to 5% of people accept my quote unquote top dollar deal, but you accept it. So now that you've accepted it, I've got to go through due diligence or this in-depth research. I have to confirm you still own the property. I have to confirm back taxes are only $200. I have to make sure there's been no breaks in the chain of title, no liens or encumbrances. I want to know what's compelling about the property. What are the roads like? Is there ingress and egress for legal access? So I have this whole big checklist. Now, because I'm only investing $2,500, I'm going to outsource that to my team in the Philippines. They're connected to an American title company. They're giving me the plat maps, the aerial maps, satellite maps, everything that a buyer is going to want to know. I'm going to want to know as well. So they're kind of creating my marketing package. And I pay about $11 for that. Now, if it was 5,000 or more, I would close traditionally through a title company.
Okay.
Let's say that everything checks out. And now I'm going to buy that property from you for $2,500. Now, Dwan, I'm going to sell this property 30 days or less. And I'm going to make a cash flow like one of your buildings in Iowa. So I have a built-in best buyer. Do you know who it is?
No, you.
No, I already bought it. I'm the owner.
Who's your best buyer? Me.
No, you're selling it to me. You don't want it back. The neighbors.
Oh, neighbors.
So
yeah. Good.
I'm I'm gonna send out neighbor letters saying, hey, here's your opportunity, protect your privacy, protect your views, know your neighbor. Oftentimes the neighbors will buy it. Now, if they pass, I'll go to my buyer's list. My buyer's list passes, I'll go to a little website you may have never heard of called Craigslist. It's the
Yeah.
10th most trafficked website in the United States.
Oh,
I'll go to
yeah.
a smaller one called Meta or Facebook, buy sell groups, the marketplace. And then I'm gonna go to the lands, landmodo.com.
What's it called? Land Moto?
Landmodo,
LANDMOTTO?
MODO,
Oh,
like
Moto. And
Landmodo.
landmoto.com. All right, everybody,
Right?
write this down. It's all great information. It's all new. See this? I love it when it's new to me.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
when you've done like
Yeah,
deals like we have forever, it's like when I hear something new, it's like, oh, new information.
no problem. So, okay, so landmodo.com,
Yeah.
there's landandfarm.com, there's landsofamerica.com, there's landflip.com, there's landhub.com. These are platforms where people buy and sell raw land. But the way that I'm going to sell it is I'm going to make it irresistible to the next buyer. So all I'm going to ask for is a $2,500 down payment to control this 25 acres in Colorado. $2,500. That's it. So I'm going to get my money out on the down. I might go 6 to 10 months out. And then I'm just going to make it a car payment. Let's say $449 a month, 9% interest over the next 84 months. So it's a one-time sale. Get my money out as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to get $449 a month, 9% interest over the next 84 months. Dwan, no renters, no rehabs, no renovations, no rodents. And because I'm not dealing with the tenant, I'm exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act, all this onerous real estate legislation.
Yep.
So the game we play is, can we create enough of these land notes where our passive income exceeds our fixed expenses? And now we're working because we want to, not because we have to.
I love it. Wow, that is, I never have done land before. We bought it with the idea of it's already subdivided when we got it. So we thought, well, we'll get this, we'll build some spec homes on it, and it's in the mountains, it's got a beautiful view. And then we got busy and we started doing the stuff in Iowa, and it's just been sitting there for, I don't know, 3 years now. Like, we need like that. Like, we need to do something with that property. It's just sitting there.
See,
So,
there you go.
so you find these houses then by going through the taxes, the unpaid taxes.
Right. So it's all public information. So I'll go to the county assessor, and I'm going to get the real property report from the assessor, and then I'm going to scrub that list. Let's say by use code. So VL for vacant land.
Yeah.
So now I got all the vacant land in that county, and then I'm going to do one more scrub by assessor's parcel number, APN number, or subdivision, because I don't want to send somebody the same offer that has 40 acres that has 5 acres, because the 40-acre person is going to send me back glitter in the mail. So we want to price it out properly. Then we're going to automate sending out our offers. So this is all automated through software.
Nice.
Then,
do you have a program for all of this?
Of course.
Well, good. Well, I want you in a minute here. I definitely want you to plug your program, because I'd like to do a webinar with you. This is like, I love it. It's, I've been investing forever, but I do like wholesaling and subject twos and rehabs and now commercial, but I have never really done any real vacant land or really worked on it. And it's really interesting to me.
Well, great.
It's super interesting. So we'll have to do a webinar. So you guys have to keep your eyes out for a webinar about this, because I'm always excited to teach people any new thing I learn. I like everyone to know, because, we're all real estate investors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my mission is probably the same as your mission. I want to get people out of what I call solo economic dependency, which means if they're personally not working, they're not making any money.
Yeah.
And so life becomes so much better when you've solved your money problems, and then you've solved your time problems.
Yeah.
So then, you're working when you want, where you want, with whom you want. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm with you. I do all of those things. But, there's just different things that interest different people. And so if someone came to me and said, hey, I want to buy a bunch of vacant land, what should I do with it? I'd be like, I don't know, put storage units on it. Like, it's just not my niche, And I am the first one to say, hey, if you want to get involved in a niche and you don't know about it, find the person that does. Because there's not one investor that is, all of us know a lot, but I don't know the one single person that knows everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And I am never afraid to admit, I'm in Ohio, and everyone up in Ohio uses land contracts. Well, they don't use land contracts in Florida or Iowa or any place I've ever invested. So I've never done a land contract. I've done 2,000 deals, never done a land contract. I got two people that are family, like, hey, help me with this land contract. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what it looks like.
I've never done anything except a land contract.
See, I don't even know what they look like. So I've got one. I'm looking through, I'm reading. I'm like, oh, okay, this is all new, like new to me because where I invest. Now, I think what state are you in?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
In Arizona. Okay. Because I always thought maybe it was kind of maybe a Midwest thing or something.
No, no. I mean, Florida and Texas have some laws around it that you have to be a little creative with. But essentially, the land contract, if you're doing the volume of deals I'm doing, you own the underlying asset.
Yeah.
So there's no cost of foreclosure until they pay off. So if they don't pay off their note, there's no cost of foreclosure. You get a new down payment, you get a new monthly payment,
Yeah.
and you keep all that money they've paid in.
Kind of like a subject to, but just different documents.
Right. But if you do a deed of trust, you actually have to go through the foreclosure process, which can
Yeah.
be timely and costly and no fun.
Yeah, so I'm actually learning. I've got two a niece and a nephew. Like, oh, hey, help me out with this. I'm like, dude, I I've done 2,000 deals all around in these 4 or 5 states, but I've never actually used a full land contract. So I'm learning about them this week. I'm reading and learning, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. So, but I don't even know. I worked in Florida for over a decade. I had never even heard of a land contract.
Yeah, because in Florida they don't like them.
Never even heard of it. I went to Colorado and we started doing deals out there still, Iowa still, and now I'm in Ohio for a while here. And my family's like, hey, I found this house. And my dad's like, hey, help me sell this house. We're gonna sell it on land contract. I'm like, I am not the girl. I'm literally learning and reading one right now for the first time. So it's funny how there's so many things out there. As much as you know, there's so many things that you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm happy, really super happy that I met you and that my audience gets a chance to get to know you because you are the first person I have interviewed. I have my podcast for 4 years. You're the first person I've interviewed that, of course, the Land Geek. I mean, who doesn't love that? And that specifically buys just vacant land everywhere. That's really great. I'm super happy to be able to introduce you to my people.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's the most boring niche out there. You're not going to go on HGTV or the DIY network because they flip this land, right? The 4 pictures raw land, the after pictures raw land. But
yeah, but why not? How old are you, Mark?
I'm 50.
Wow. Looking good there, my friend.
Thank you.
Very good. I know I'm 62.
Whoa, you're looking amazing.
I'm just like, ooh, 62. It's the pink hair. It throws that wrap. Nobody can tell how old I am anymore because I made my hair pink. So you're 50. So how long have you been investing in real estate?
So I started, if we rewind the tape to 2000, so it's over 21 years now. And I was a miserable, micromanaged 45-minute commute to work and back investment banker, specializing in mergers and acquisitions with private equity groups. And Dwan, it got so bad for me. I didn't get the Sunday blues, anticipating Monday coming around. I'd get the Friday blues, anticipating the weekend going by really fast and having to be back at work on Monday. So my firm hires this guy. He's telling me that as a side hustle, he's going to these tax deed auctions. He's buying up raw land, pennies on the dollar. He's flipping them online, and he's making a 300% return on his money. Well, I'm looking at companies all day long, and a great company, has 15% EBITDA margins or free cash flow. Average company's 10%. And I'm looking at companies all day long, less than 10%. So I don't believe him. So I go to New Mexico with him. I've got $3,000 saved up for car repairs. I do exactly what he tells me to do. I buy 10 half-acre parcels, an average price of $300 each. I flip them online for an average price of $1,200 each. It worked, 300%. So I took all that money, went to another auction in Arizona, which is where I live. And again, it's 2000. There's no one in the room. I'm buying up lots, acreage for nothing. I sell all that property, and I made over $90,000 cash.
Wow.
So I go to my wife. She's pregnant. I said, honey, I'm going to quit my job, become a full-time land investor. And she's like, absolutely not. So I said,
that's it. Like, no.
Yeah, no. So I said, okay. So it took me about 18 months for the land investing income to exceed the investment banking income. And then I quit, and I've been doing it full-time ever since.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah, I love it when people are able to get out of like the grind, the daily grind everybody's in. I love when they can get out and never become self-employed. I think the reason I like to teach so much is I just want people to know that you can work for yourself and make really good money and don't have all that like what you have, the boss and the people in the office and just and no one ever gets paid what they feel like they're actually worth.
Right. Right.
And at least if
Absolutely.
you're working for yourself, you can you can work hard, you can make this much, that much, whatever it is, but it's still you doing it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So tell me, Mark, what was like Mark, like 14, 15, 16? What was that Mark doing?
Young Mark was always kind of a hustler.
Yeah,
So I was always sort of entrepreneurial. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I loved, kind of like business at a very young age. So I
yeah.
was that kid who had like the lemonade stand when he was real young, and then I would go around and my neighbor and I would sell like cookies, like neighborhood
Yeah.
like cookies. But like when I'm in high school, I realized like Mark's not getting a date to prom. So I'm like, all right, if I'm not getting a date, that's fine. But I realized like everyone else who has dates, all the cool kids
Yep.
have to get corsages and boutonnieres. So I went to all the local florists and said, hey, I'll be your guy. I'll sell to all the kids in my class the corsages and boutonnieres if you give me a cut. And so I had locked up like 80% of the florists. And I like if you wanted a corsage or boutonniere, you had to go through me if you were order.
Oh my gosh, what a good side hustle. I'm gonna teach that to my grandkids.
Yeah, yeah. So I was that kind of kid in high school.
Oh my gosh, that was good. Did you get a date to the prom?
Yeah, yeah, at 18, I did, but we were just friends.
Oh,
It was not fun.
that's okay. You still went though. Proms are always fun. I know I
Right.
was a sophomore, and I live out in the country, and the senior asked me to the prom, and I was like, oh my God, a senior. I got to go to the senior prom. I'm a sophomore in high school. I thought that was like the biggest day of my life right there. because
Yeah. See, you were like one of the cool kids. Like
I
I
don't
was
know. I
like
was super
the
shy. I
awkward
think
geek.
everybody thought I was really pretty, and everybody always wanted to take me out, but I was it's so weird. I was so painfully shy, like painfully shy. If you would talk to me, my face would turn beet red. I didn't never raise my hand. I was just so shy. And having to do any kind of a report or anything, I would be sick about it for weeks. And if anyone ever said to me, oh, listen, you'll be a national speaker, you'll have a show, you'll have this and that, I'm like, I can guarantee that's never happening. And then there you are later. So
It is.
gosh darn, I was so shy. It's crazy to think about like how debilitating it was. I was like that till I was like 25.
No kidding.
Yeah, really bad, really bad. And I don't know. I decided one day like it was really like just detrimental to me. So I got a job working at a nightclub.
Huh.
You got to talk to people. There's a million people out there. It was the 80s. I was partying along with the whole thing. And next thing you know, I'm like, woohoo. And that was it. I was over it.
Wow.
Super
That's cool.
crazy, super shy.
Yeah.
All right, so I love the fact that you were side hustling, like the corsages. That I've never met anyone that did that before. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would sell like the giant Snicker bars. Like we didn't have like the best snacks.
Yeah,
So yeah, at lunch I'd sell Snicker bars to my friends, and I had no cost because my dad was a wholesale grocer. He'd bring a case of Snicker bars home. My sister and I might eat a couple, and I'd sell the rest.
good for you. That is very ingenious. That's really amazing. Teach that to your kids. You have kids, right? Did you
I
teach
have
your
three
kids all
kids.
your
Yeah.
side hustles?
Unfortunately, they're not interested in money because they haven't had to be interested in money yet, but they will be very
Yeah, they will.
soon. And then they're going to be coming to dad like, hey, wait, tell us about this. I'm like, yeah, talk to Aunt Dwan.
That's
She can make
right.
you
That's right.
wealthy.
It's funny. My son was that way. I have three kids. So my son, he used to buy those monsters, the monster drinks, and he would buy cases of them and take them in his backpack, and he'd sell them for $5 a piece. So he'd get off the bus in the morning. They would swarm him. He'd sell all these things for $5 a piece. So we got called to the principal's office. He said, "Hey, listen, Billy, he's doing this and this," and we're like, "Okay." So no, you're not allowed to do that. You can't be making money in high school that way. And I said, well, is there like a law? And so he got suspended.
No kidding.
And I was like, listen, you are not in trouble at home. You keep doing that. So he got back to school and he was just a little more careful, but he did that through all high school. He made a fortune.
Yeah.
He bought himself a $6,000 dirt bike selling monsters for $5 a piece.
Yeah, it adds up. It adds up.
So I was like, you're not grounded at home, honey. Screw the teachers. They don't think big enough. You just keep doing that. This is not like he was like selling weed. It's like he's selling monsters, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
and it's legal in Colorado now anyway. So I guess anybody could get it. So when you're like maybe early 20s, or so are you on this path? I'm going to be in the business, the banking. Like, where are you at? Like 20, 25?
So 2025, I graduated from college. I took a year off and I traveled to Australia with a buddy.
Fun.
So my buddy and I backpacked through Europe together, and we went to the Heineken brewery, and we met this group of Australians, and we all got drunk together. And my buddy and I made a promise that we would go to Australia and travel there. And so we did. And so then when I came back, I'm like, okay, wait, I got to get a job. And
Yeah.
that's when I found the investment banking job. Well, actually, that wasn't really my first job. My first job was helping dentists buy and sell practices. And so I was like a dental broker, but the private equity group started rolling up the dental practices. Like, if I can't beat them, join them. And
Yeah.
then I went and started to work with private equity groups.
Nice. And then so all of that just sort of led to someone telling you about the land deals, and boom, that was it. You were locked in and you were the
That was
land geek.
it. I was the land geek.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's so much fun. I love when there's like really good stories like that. So can you give us like 3 actionable tips? 3 things that a brand new person listening that has never heard about this before, 3 things that they could do to kind of set them on the path of discovering what is in the land geek world. Like 3 things that someone could do to kind of research a little bit about what your business is.
Yeah. So the first thing that they want to do is get educated. So if they just go to landgeek.com, there's a ton there. The second thing is they could start with a free course. So learn how to double their money in 30 days or less. So they get some confidence, because the best way to learn is to do it. So if they go to landgeek.com/quick deals, they can take that free course. And then the third part is just going deeper into the model if it resonates with you. If you don't love it, it doesn't resonate with you, there's no shortage of other models out there.
That's
So
right.
I think those are the 3 things you want to do. Get
Nice. So
educated,
someone is
take
like
action.
thinking, if not, yeah, take action is so big. I mean, people, I find sometimes that people just buy courses and they learn and 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 they never actually do anything. It's like, oh my gosh, for the love of God, stop doing that. Just do something. So
Right. And
someone,
I feel like it's like building a bridge, right? So if you want to get to the other side, you got to build a bridge, brick by brick by brick. But what happens is you start building the bricks, and you go on another podcast. You're like, well, I like that bridge better. And then you go to the next, start building the next bridge. And you're like, wait, what about ATM investing? Then you go to the next bridge. So they never complete the bridge. And so I think that commitment and focus is so important to have that millionaire mindset.
it is. And that, I agree with you. I tell people all the time, I'm like, hey, listen, if you're going to learn from me, basically, I'm going to teach you short sales, wholesaling, and subject twos. Like, that's kind of what I teach, and that's it. If you want to learn this and this and this, you need to go to a different person, and then I tell people, like, if you just want to explore all the things in the world that are real estate, you're never really going to get good at something. So, I mean, I feel like it's really good to have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. But I think when you try to just do all the things that are available, I don't think you ever really find, like, maybe, I don't know. For me, I think you just need to like find the thing that excites you,
Right. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and not just be like all over the map. But I am always encouraging people, get on webinars, listen, learn, invest in, if there's anything like free stuff that you have, like, always learn, always invest and see what's out there. But when you find something you like, learn it.
Yeah,
Like,
go deep with it. Yeah. I'm
go
an
deep
inch
with it.
wide and a mile deep.
Exactly. So if someone's like, hey, you know what? I want to kind of maybe look at the assessor's office. I just want to see a little bit like what's out there. What would somebody do? Like, where would they start that
Well,
curiosity?
Yeah, so you'd start at a website called NACO.org, and there's 3,007 U.S. counties in the United States. They have all the counties listed right there, and so you can get the assessor's information for any county in the country.
And then you can just wholesale the deals from
You
or
can email the assessor and get a list. Absolutely.
anywhere in the county. So people can work from where, like you are in Phoenix, they can do deals all over the country.
I haven't personally looked at a piece of property in probably a decade.
Yeah. Did you used to look at them in the beginning?
Sure, I did everything myself in the beginning.
Yeah, I did too. I would always go and look, how much does it rehab? What's it need? And now the stuff that we buy, I'm just like, okay, well, here's what it is. These are the comps. That's it. I'll just take it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, now it's like the Matrix. Like you're just looking at numbers and you can see it all.
It is. It's all about numbers. It really is all about numbers. So let me ask you, tell me, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food. I mean, I have a favorite genre of food. I like Thai
Okay.
and Indian. But if I had to say like a favorite food, I don't know. Um, it's too hard. I love food.
I know I
I
love
don't
it
know.
too. Oh, I
What's your
love
favorite
Thai and
food?
Indian. Do you know how many people don't eat Indian food? It's like I'm up here in Ohio. Nobody eats sushi. Nobody eats Indian food. It's like, what do you guys eat up here? They always have our Long John Silver's and they eat so much junk food up here. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe y'all aren't dead. Like
Yeah.
nobody eats stuff like that up here. I have not had anything good up here to eat for the last couple of weeks. So tell me this: what's your favorite band of all time?
My favorite band of all
You
time.
can only pick one.
If I only had to pick one, it's probably going to be the Rolling Stones.
Oh,
Yeah. The Beatles are going to be a close second.
oh, I love both. I've seen the Rolling Stones about 6 times. They're so great.
They're so great.
You
They're
can
so
tell a lot
great.
about people by the kind of music they listen to.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like the
for
rock
sure.
bands, like the bands. Like there's not bands anymore. Everybody's all synthesized and everybody has a couple of hits and then they're just gone. It's like the Stones are like and they're like the longest band ever.
It's amazing. Have you seen that on Disney Plus, the documentary Get Back with about the Beatles?
Not oh yes.
Isn't it so good?
Yes.
And you're seeing McCartney in real time. You can't get the words to Let It Be,
Ugh.
and he's like
I
singing, and he's like reading the newspaper, creating the lyrics. I mean, it's amazing. It's like genius.
I know. I love it. I love to watch this. I watched a couple things recently. I got on some documentary mode. I watched a thing about Aerosmith. I watched a thing about David Lee Roth. What was that? Van Halen. Watched a thing about Journey. I watched a couple things about Queen. So I don't know. I've been on some kind of a weird thing lately where I'm just watching all these documentaries on all these different bands. It's really amazing to me how some of
Oh
them
yeah,
are so like, especially like a band like that, like Aerosmith. There's some band that's been like 50 years and they haven't killed each other yet. It's longer than most
yeah,
marriages.
right. I mean, the collaboration. I mean, is
It is amazing. Did I lose you for a second on the sound?
Zoom just switched out my AirPods. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
okay.
You sound the same. You sound good.
Okay.
So everybody, I feel like everybody in the world, everybody has like a little place, some kind of place. And when they're at this place, they just feel like it's their happy place. They feel like everything is right in the world. Do you have a place like that somewhere that you visit or you go to and you're like, this is the best place ever?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the happy place is going to be either like on a hike in the
Mm,
mountains. Um, I love water. So if I can be near any kind of body of water, is
yeah,
always going to be a happy place for me. So mountains, water, nature, those are all really happy places for me.
yeah. I'm a water person. I don't care if it's a lake or a pond or an ocean or a waterfall. If there's water, I'm just like, oh, this is great. I know it is funny
Yeah.
how different things like people, just different things soothe different people. So all right. So so I just kind of want to review. I took a bunch of notes. So I like to
Okay.
review and kind of see like what we learned about Mark today and see if we got inside of your mind a little bit. So you are 50 years old
Hmm.
and you are the Land Geek, which I totally love. You do raw land, over 6,000 deals, which is amazing. Been doing it for 20 years. You kind of start off. I took quick notes here. Finding the bank taxes, checking the numbers, dividing by 4, getting some amazing number, and talking to the neighbors who are our best buyers because they don't want some crazy person buying the land next to them, especially if they can control it, which is really great. When you were young, you were hustling, you did the corsages, you did finally get to go to prom. Even though as a friend, still got to go. And let's see, hold on. And there's landmoto.com, landflip.com. And for your tips, it's basically getting educated. They can go to the landgeek.com/quick deals and get some free stuff and kind of learn a little bit about what you're doing. And they can go to naco.org and they can look at all the counties. I did not know there's 3,007 counties in the United States. They can check out the counties and kind of just look around, see what's out there as they're listening to you. And you love Thai food, Indian food, the Rolling Stones, and hiking and water.
You got it.
Is that kind of a little bit about you?
That's a little bit about me. Yeah.
And you know what I find in all that? You have things that you enjoy. You like hiking, you like nature. You're not just about work.
No, not at all. In fact, I've set it up that way. My dad was a workaholic, so I kind of knew like typically with like your family of origin, you either adopt or you reject.
Yeah.
That part I rejected and did not want to, live to work.
No, I get it. My husband is a complete workaholic, and we've been married 20 years. And sometimes I'm like, dude, listen, you have got to get that voice of your dad out of your head saying if you're not working, you're not doing anything productive. And he is still a piece of work, and I'm on him all the time about balance. I have to smell the roses. So I'm finally getting this man to like chill out a little bit. And I just find that when you just focus too much on work and money, that all the other things in your life suffer. And then, you have all these super rich people and they have like no family and no friends and their health is crazy. And what's that saying about how does it go? You spend your youth getting wealth or something, and then you spend your wealth to take care of your health, or something saying about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I agree 100%. I mean, I think that, you do, it's like sprints and rest.
Uh-huh.
Like there's nothing wrong with sprinting, working really hard, but then resting.
Yes.
And then, but you can't just sprint. You'll burn yourself out. You can't rest. You'll get bored.
Yeah.
So, that's how I kind of approach my days.
I like that. Yeah. The first decade, I started investing when I was about 32. The first decade, I was such a broke single mom. I just never wanted to be broke again. So I think I overcompensated by just working till it was ridiculous. And finally I was like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. It's like I'm 100 years old. I need to and so I started, trying to have more balance and all the different things. So I really encourage people to do that, especially if they're starting, because it is when you're new, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do land. This is great. I'm going to follow the Land Geek, and they're doing it and they're all in. But you do that for a couple of years without many breaks, you're going to be burned out and exhausted, or maybe even leave a career that made you feel burned out because you just didn't take enough time for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I know people like, I rehab 5 houses. I did them all myself. I work my job. I rehab on the weekends, rehab on the weekends, on the evenings. I'm exhausted, so I'm quitting. It's like, well, who does that? So when you're tired.
Right.
Right? So at the end of all of our shows, everyone that listens to Dwanderful knows I have a thing I call the 5 equities of life. So they are financial, physical, spiritual, mental, and family. At the end of every show, I always like the guests to honor us and give us our equity assignment, our topic of the week, and give us an assignment. And everyone that listens knows that I ask them to, whatever it is, I just ask them to do it for 1 week. And if it adds value to their life, to keep doing it. And if it doesn't, or they don't like it, at least they did something different for the week and then just stay in the same grind that people find themselves in. So what is the life equity that you want to give us this week? And what is our assignment?
Okay. So mine is going to be mental, because I think once you get your head right, everything else can flow from there. Right. Because everywhere we go, there we are. So if you're in Hawaii on vacation, but all you're thinking about is work. Are you really in Hawaii? No,
Exactly.
you're in the future, or you're in the past. So for me, the assignment would be download the Waking Up app by Sam Harris, or Headspace, or Calm. Doesn't matter really which one. I like Waking Up with Sam Harris, but start learning how to meditate, because once you learn how to meditate, then even when you're not formally meditating, everything you do in life can be a form of meditation where you're really present to that moment.
Mhm.
And there's an old Zen sort of story where the Zen master is in the market and he goes to the butcher and he asks the butcher, "What's your best cut of meat?" And the butcher says, "All my best meats are the best cuts of meat." And at that point, he becomes enlightened because he realizes every moment is the best moment. So that would be my life equity. Get
I
right
love it.
mentally.
Give me the apps again. The Waking Up with Sam Harris, and what was the other one? Headspace.
Headspace and calm.com.
Okay, I like that. So so these are just apps people listen to, kind of walks them through.
Yeah, it'll teach them how to meditate and how to increase their concentration. So every moment can be the best moment.
I love it. Every moment being the best moment. I mean, honestly, that is super, super good. So tell us just one more time, give us the full, all the ways we can find you, sites, websites, podcasts, give us the whole Mark spiel.
So the best places to go is thelandgeek.com. And then from there, check out the Art of Passive Income podcast. But thelandgeek.com, if you play with it, you'll find me everywhere for sure.
Nice. I love it. And if they go to thelandgeek.com/quick deals, you have a free
They
download
got the
for
free
everything.
course. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, free. Well, I'm gonna download that because I don't know a lot about this topic, and I've got a bunch of land sitting there, and I was like, ooh, it's funny though. I got a text message. I guess a lot of people, they use text as reaching out, and someone texted me recently, said, "Hey, I noticed you have this vacant land, and are you interested in selling it?" I was like, "Oh, someone's reaching out. They found my phone number and
Right.
they sent me a text." And I was like, no, because I'm not interested in selling it at this time. But it was the first person that has reached out. So maybe they found it in the assessor's office or something and they saw the land. So I got a text message about it. And I was like, hey, look at someone doing their marketing. So I always
Yeah.
text back and say, hey, good job on your marketing. At this time, I'm not interested in selling, but thank you for reaching out. You keep doing this, you go. And they're probably like, who the hell did I just text? That's like telling me good marketing, go girl. And when I get like postcards and stuff, people that that are farming, I'll call and say, hey, listen, your postcard's amazing. You keep doing that. And I'm sure people are always like, who is this woman that just called me and tell me good job on that? But I want them to know that marketing is working.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I get all these texts. I was like, oh, and I read it. I'm like, oh, it's like, hey, look at that. Good job. So I have no idea who it was. I said, here's my name and number. If you ever want to, look at anything in the mountains, I've got stuff. And I never heard back, but I still gave him some kudos for it. All right,
Very
so
cool.
everybody, hit me up at dwanderful.com, DWANDERFUL, dwanderful.com. I have 4 free ebooks for you if you opt in over there. And I also want you to listen to Mark's podcast. And I always ask, if you learn, if you laugh, just anything, give us a 5-star review, write something amazing, because all of our shows grow when all of you participate. So we work very hard to get your reviews and your stars and your likes and your subscriptions. So I ask you to always participate in that to help all of us grow, because without all these amazing podcasts, people would have a lot harder time getting so much great information at like a location. Podcasts are the greatest thing. You can learn about anything in the world.
It's great.
That's Mark agreeing with me.
I'm agreeing. I'm checking out Dwanderful right now.
Dwanderful, yeah. So you see me there with my pink hair. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, your pink hair! What great branding!" I was like, honestly, we were locked down COVID for so long, and my hair was growing out, my roots were gray, and I was like, I'm gonna make my hair pink. And then all of a sudden, it stuck. So there you go. That's my fancy branding.
Great. It's great marketing. Next time you see me, pink hair.
Pink hair. Listen, when you get as much gray as I have, you got to do something, man. I was like, I'm not ready. Not ready. I'm not saying I won't do it someday, but There's no place in my mind at this point where I see myself as this old gray-haired lady. So it's not happening. All right. So I want to thank you, Mark, for being on. You're super interesting. You're funny. You're adorable. And I love your story and I love your journey. And I feel like people are going to learn a lot from you. I appreciate your time and your energy. I love your life equity. So folks, we're going to focus on mental. We're going to download a couple apps, the Headspace or the Waking Up with Sam Harris, and just going to learn how to, be in the moment, get our minds right. And yeah, when you meditate and stuff, you're not so stressed out about all the things happening in your life.
Yeah. In fact, you realize that, you can just ask yourself, what problem do I have this moment? And in the moment, there are no problems.
Yeah.
It's all mind stuff. And if you actually do have something you have to solve in that moment, it's not a problem. You just solve it in that moment.
That's it. Solve it in that moment. All right, guys. So we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And remember, the truth is in the red letters. So ciao, everyone. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for dropping by to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever, making real estate investment wonderful each and every time. And for more information on how to make your real estate dreams a reality, keep an eye on Dwanderful.com and be sure to become a member.